Welcome to Withdraw Consent. I'm Victor. He's Jack. Jack, what are your thoughts on populism?
Okay, I want to talk about American populism.
Okay.
So when we were just looking up like what is populism, and it was saying basically it's a movement of the people, like often against the elites and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it could be what was Occupy Wall Street,
Okay.
where it's like 99%, 1% type thing. So it could be anything like that. But really how it manifests itself just currently in politics is either Bernie Sanders as a progressive or Donald Trump as...
Because they both claim to be for the people? Is that what makes them populist?
Yeah, they both claim to be for the people.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's really rough, honestly.
Okay.
It's really rough. But so populism in and of itself is not bad.
Okay.
But I'm just talking about the populism that we have. And I'm going to tell you a story that happened. I guess I'll link the video in the description. It's a silly video. But basically, Styx Hexenhammer was doing a video. And it was called Demask something something. And in it, he talked about another video that happened, which he had the link in the description. So I'll also tag that. It's a Twitter.
Okay.
It's a little video. I can't play it on the screen. It's just all cursing.
Oh, okay.
And I just don't want to edit, bleep the entire thing. It just seems silly. Maybe I'll play it quiet in the background. I don't know. We'll see. But it'll be in the description no matter what. And basically what happened is it was in Oregon, I believe, and some MAGA people, libertarians, went out to wave their American flags,
Okay.
And what happened is a group of Nazis show up, They're like wearing all black and they got black masks and they got swastika flags. So just whatever, I can't tell you if that's Antifa. I can't tell you if they're Nazis. And basically what happens is the MAGA people start screaming at them, cursing. They start doing a little fighting, like non-weapons, I don't believe, but they had flags and stuff. And then eventually one of the Nazis' mask gets taken off. And then they're like, demask them all, to like pulling off their mask. They kind of got to run away because they're concealing their identity, either because they're Nazis and they don't want to lose their job, or because they're Antifa pretending to be Nazis. It doesn't really matter what they are,
Yeah.
And then that, so I went and watched that mid video with Styx, and then I went back to him. And so his conclusion is the system is so afraid of populism. What? I paused it and I'm like, what? Like, okay, so let's talk about the two different types of populism we see. Bernie,
Okay.
and we'll talk about Trump. So Bernie ran for the Democratic primary in 2016 and 2020.
Right.
If you are a progressive, you could say 100% for sure he was cheated out of both primary elections.
Okay.
There's even things like one time he came in with a black eye and it was like, oh, wow, they're really, but like if you just talk to a progressive, go look at Jimmy Dore, just talk to a progressive, go on Reddit or something. They'll say it was stolen. And if you remember in 2020, when Biden got the primary, do you remember Bernie was winning?
Right.
Yeah, there had to be intercession to stop Bernie, So if you think that progressive populism in this country has a chance, there you go. Bernie, he doesn't have a chance. Not because he doesn't have ideas that lots, especially like college student age Americans, really are into his ideas. And then you look at Trump. Trump's a populist. He ran on populist ideologies, build the wall, drain the swamp, things that regular blue collar Americans,
Yeah.
really want. And then what happened with those things?
It didn't end well. I mean,
Yeah.
nothing came of it.
Right. So we had some good policies. He put in some good executive orders and they were all wiped out day one of Biden. That's not permanent change.
Right. That's just a pause in the normal.
Yeah. And he tried to get the healthcare through and McCain thwarted him. That dude's terrible. And he did do some good stuff. Like, for example, I remember he took off that. Do you remember that mandatory you had to pay a fine if you don't have healthcare for every month you don't have the healthcare? He executive order ripped that off even before he tried to alter the healthcare. I don't have healthcare right now. And I didn't have healthcare back then. And I was getting paid I was paying the fine,
Gotcha.
If you don't feel like you have money for healthcare, you don't have money for the fine involved for not having healthcare. It's not like I'm like, oh, just roll the dice. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so I'm not talking bad about Trump. He did some good things. But if like, are you going to look me in the eyes and say he is the populist solution? he'll get us all the way there. Mass deportation, seal the border. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not his platform even to do the things that you need done. Repealing the 16th Amendment, like all the things. None of them are on his platform. He's got some cool things on there.
Yeah.
And he might, it's not an accelerationist vote if you vote for him or if he gets elected. Then you look at what happened in 2020 and you say, I mean, did he already get elected in 2020? You make up your mind. I can show you video evidence, whatever, though we don't need to. Do you think that American populism will get you there within the system? And it's like what do you think about this? Because Sticks, the thing that just got me to make this video is Sticks said, the system's scared of populism in different words, but he said the system's scared of populism. Do you think the system's scared of American populism?
Yeah, I've been trying to figure that out as you've been talking, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to answer the question. I'm just going to tell you my thoughts, and maybe there'll be an answer in there. My initial reaction was, well, we kind of talk populism, sort of, that we're for the people and the government should be for the people. So are Bernie and Trump just not the right people for, even though they claim to be populists, maybe there's different levels of populism.
Okay. Let me clarify then.
Okay.
Populism within the system, populism without the system.
Yeah, that was going to be my next.
So like if you were looking at like a loyalist faction pre-Revolutionary War, they could be populistically driven perhaps, probably not, probably establishment, but they would be doing it within the system. And then the revolutionaries came and said, hey, let's be populist. Let's do everything for the American people outside of the system. Let's write this letter to King George. See, we're doing outside the system populism. We want an awakening of people outside the system. The funny thing about this is that the people in the black masks are outside of the system populists. They're either Antifa or neo-Nazis.
Interesting.
Which means both of them wanting the best for their people in far different ways. Communism and then traditional families over here, I don't know what the group was. But Sticks is looking at it and he's analyzing it and he's saying, what's the system's afraid of? Populism within the system. You just had populism outside of the system right in front of you. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as a spokesperson for the system, you said, we're really afraid of, they'll vote hard this time, harder than 2020. No? What do you think about this?
Yeah, I don't feel like they're afraid of any representative of populism because they control everything. So if they don't want you to be in power, you're not going to be in power.
Right.
That would be my...
Right.
So I don't think that's fear. They don't fear that. I think they fear the people themselves. Which is why they try to convince the people that things are good and that type of thing, because they don't have complete control. They have complete control, but not to the extent if everyone rose up right now, it would be over.
Right. Okay. So, this has changed my thoughts on it just discussing it with you.
Okay.
I just think the delineation is good, that they're not afraid of any populism within the system because they can fully control that.
Yes.
They can control it in every way. If you're going to go do a massive protest, there's FBI in the crowd. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. If you're doing populism outside the system and you were to do a massive armed protest, there's going to be FBI in the crowd. But have you ever gone to a protest and thought, I'm bringing, what are those zip tie things called? You know what I'm saying?
Like the handcuffs?
Yeah, the handcuff zip ties. I'm bringing those so I can citizens arrest every federal agent in the crowd. See, within the establishment of they won't do that. They'll be like, oh, we better watch out for Antifa or, you know what I'm saying, this and that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But this one is, we're here to destroy the system. And when we find the system among us, we're going to citizens arrest them. We're not destroying human beings in this instance,
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about this?
About the overall topic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, Sticks was not right. They're not afraid of Bernie, his followers, Trump, MAGA. They're not afraid of any of it because they're in control at that level.
They're in control, right? If they want Trump in 2024, he will win.
Right.
If they do not want him in, he will not win.
Correct.
Yeah, then how many election cycles are you going to sit there and just keep voting harder?
Right, as if it means something.
which I've done.
100%. I know. I was like all the statistics before the 2020 election, all these new people being registered and what the polls look like. I mean, it was set up to be this incredible landslide, which it should have been.
Yeah, what about the bellwether counties, Right. It was wild. It was like 16 out of 17.
Yeah.
So I'm just, populism can be good. So I don't want to dissuade you from that. I'm going to have to change my intended video title since the thought kind of went a little bit different than I was thinking after you kind of critically analyzed it. But populism's not bad, but populism within the within the system, trying to work within the system and be a populist is not going to work. They're not afraid of that.
Right. I mean, it could work if you were in a country where the system was just starting out or, that type of thing, and there was still a chance to work within the system, then populism would be great because then it's...
Yeah. I feel like it would be amazing if there was like a MAGA rally. Could be 15, 20 people, honk for Trump. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then like there was like local people who just got together and said, we're going to counter protest. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And then they just all went across the street, still had American flags, still had Make America Great hats. And they're just saying, vote harder, you losers. You know what I mean? You can do it this time. Do you know?
Yeah.
Because the people on that side of the street just haven't figured it out yet.
Right.
All their intentions are well. They're not racist, trying to, lynch people. They're trying to get good policies and stuff. And then to have a counter protest where it's like, we know.
Right.
You know? Because I would even want to walk over there and be like, do you understand what's going on here?
Yeah.
We're on the same side. We've just realized there's no solution within the system.
Yeah.
And so anytime you see a live video where people go into a Trump crowd, I'm a liberal, I'll go into a Trump crowd. And they're always like, yeah, brother, come on, let's talk. Yeah. It's not like lynch him. You know what I mean? It's not like going to the other side sometimes, not every time. So it's funny because they would accept you and they would talk to you. Totally. You're all American decked out too, you know? And it would be funny if this started happening and this was the grassroots. And then all of a sudden, there's like 40,000 people who are here to see Trump talk. And there's 80,000 protesters wearing American flags with, you know what I'm saying? Pretty amazing.
But if you get the supposedly 80 million people that voted for Trump and make them realize there's no solution in the system, that's a huge deal.
But 80 is not the right number, I don't think.
Are you sure?
That was 81 for Biden. Oh, you're talking about Biden?
No, I mean, what was the Trump number? Trump, we have them backwards.
Yeah, Biden got 81 million votes, and Trump got like 6 or 7 million more than he got last time. It was in the 70s.
Okay. Let's just say it was 70. I mean, that's a lot of people that it's clicked in their head.
And it was like higher 70s too. So
yeah.
Yeah, right. A small percentage. You would just need a small percentage of that group, of that 70-something million, right? To understand that we need a solution outside the system.
Yeah. I mean, even if you get a couple million of them, that's a huge amount of people to progress things. Right.
And I feel like once you understand that there's no solution in the system, you should be kind of possessed of a fiery zealousness.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And offended and mad that you've been lied to and just all the things.
Yeah. Yeah. Furious and desiring to help other people who were formerly like you.
Yeah.
Especially the older you are, Right. Because I spent a long time not understanding.
Definitely.
And it's a little shameful.
Yeah, but it's...
Try harder.
The propaganda is so...
The propaganda is
tough to get through.
Right. Okay, so... This took an interesting turn.
Yeah, it's a good conversation.
Yeah. So what do you think about populism? Do you think that there's a solution for populism within the system? Do you think it's impossible to find a solution for populism outside the system? We'd really appreciate any comments you got. I respond to them. And we do new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 8 Pacific and 11 Eastern. Yep. And we'll see you next time.